The US presidential elections operate differently from India's popular vote system. In the US, voters actually choose an electoral college which ultimately selects the president and the vice president. So here's how it works. The US president is elected by 538 electors from across the nation. This number represents the combined total of members in the Senate, the House of Representatives, plus 3 electors from Washington, D.C. It's a winners-take-all system in most states. Whoever wins the popular vote in each state claims all the state's electoral votes, with the exception of Nebraska and Maine. Each state's electoral votes are based on population, but winning the presidency requires 270 of these 538 votes. Voters in each state select electors from party nominees, with swing states holding particular importance. These are the states where the outcome is uncertain and could sway either way. Notably, each state is guaranteed at least 3 electoral votes, so states with small populations like Wyoming end up overrepresented, while highly populated states like California are somewhat underrepresented. And now we are joined by our correspondents from the US. We have Amritpal Singh connected with us from Florida and Shubhendu Ghosh from Washington, D.C. I'll come to you, Amrit, first. Both candidates we see are campaigning in the swing states, as it is the last day of campaigning in the country. The national survey points that they are very closely tied with a marginal difference over each other. So in a way, the swing states hold the key for the White House?
That's right. The swing states have always held the key to the White House because though their composition in the Electoral College may be small, but they decide who the next president would be because the election goes the way they go. And the latest New York Times Siena College survey points exactly to that. The difference is really marginal. If you look at Pennsylvania, the biggest swing state, both are tied at 48 percentage points. If you look at if you look at Nevada, for example, Nevada, Trump holds about 46 percentage points, whereas Harris is leading by 3 percentage points here. With a margin error, as I said, things could go either way. Again, in North Carolina, the difference is just about 2 percentage points. 46 to 48, 46 for Trump, 46 for Harris. Again, Wisconsin, 47-49, 47 for Trump, 49 for Kamala. Again, Georgia is very closely tied, 47 for Trump, 48, just 1 percentage point difference. Michigan, again tied, 47 percentage points each. Arizona looks a little clear for Donald Trump. According to the poll survey, it says 45 for Harris and 49 for Trump. So nationally, she leads by a margin of 1.4 percentage points, and that is really no margin given the error margin. So that is why you see both sides trying to put all their energies on the last day of campaigning in the swing states. He was in Pennsylvania, she was in Wisconsin, he ended up in Georgia, North Carolina, her running mate again in North Carolina and Georgia, trying to woo the voter. She's saying that don't fall in for the election fraud rhetoric of Donald Trump, clearly sending a message to her voter base and the undecided voters that come out and vote, because whoever gets the voter out really wins this race.
Clearly a very historically close contest it will be. Thank you, Amritpal Singh. Shubhendu Ghosh is also with us. Shubhendu, what is the mood and situation in Washington just before the elections? And would you also take us through the election process on November 5th?
Well, here in the national capital, the seat of power, Washington, D.C., the tension is palpable in the air. With the election day just around the corner, the security has been heightened for many days now. There was also an incident of a ballot box burning a few weeks ago. All arrangements are being made that any untoward incidents does not happen. There's an elaborate security arrangement at the polling stations as well, besides the candidates. There's use of drones, bulletproof glasses and other such means. If we talk about the voting process on November 5th, it is going to be a voting from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But we also have to take into account the different time zones in the United States. For example, there's a time difference of about 3 hours between Washington, D.C. and California. So this 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. will have to account for that as well. Most of the voting happens on hard copy ballot paper by the voters. There is also about 25% of voting that happens through electronic voting. We have to also remember that during the early voting that has happened here in America, this time over, the numbers are quite historic. In most of the places, especially the swing states which are in focus in the elections, more than 50% of the voters have already exercised their franchise. The rest of them are expected to vote on November 5th, the election day. Once the voting gets over by about 7 p.m. in the evening, the trends will start coming. If the contest continues to be as close as the opinion polls have predicted, it might take many days to determine who the next leader, who the next president of the US is going to be. However, if any leader has a clear edge, then it is possible that within 24 hours of the elections concluding, we might know who the next leader of the United States is going to be.
Thank you very much. Shubhendu Ghosh reporting from Washington, D.C.